Ben, explain to your fans, Mr. Ben, what you're doing. He's got a lot of fans on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him as Mr. Ben.
Trying to get an O-ring in there.
Is there anybody that can help us do this? He's got 10 fingers, 2 picks, a belly in the way.
I'm using my belly as a table.
His belly at the table. Oh, what was that again?
Chili cheese Fritos don't taste the same. The barbecue Fritos are the best.
I want everybody's opinion. Does Mr. Johnny need a haircut or should he let his hair stay long? We'll have the poll.
Stay long.
What do you think? Long or short? Oh my God, he's gonna have so many women after him.
Yeah, you got pretty hair. Stacy's such.
All right, we got Mr. Ben here. He's working on his 44. Explain to everybody what you're doing, Mr. Johnny. Explain to the child abuse that you got your son in this little, underneath this tractor in this tight spot.
Yeah,
All right, what are you doing, Ben?
replacing the AC lines.
The crowd can't hear you.
Replacing the AC lines.
Okay. His microphone's down. That's why we got it. We ain't got to do it.
Right here.
So you put a new compressor on?
New everything.
New everything. Oh, well, just act like you don't see the beer. Let me put my finger there in the way. And then we got Mr. Johnny. He's sitting here like me watching. We're spectators. We're handing tools to the professional. And of course, then you got the other part of the crowd coming in here. Miss Meanie. What name are we going to put you on here? She's Miss Eastern Shore Farmer, so what are we going to put you? We got to come up with a name for her, Ben. I mean, like a child-friendly name, Ben, not like a mean name.
Dr. Rachel.
Doctor, shit, she ain't a doctor or nothing. Here, everybody's going to be seeing you, so put your best face on. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Now you got to tell them to subscribe and like, thumbs up.
Subscribe and like with a thumbs up.
There you go. See? My brother always does that. He's going to be mad at you now. And then you got the future little farmer right there. You want to say anything to your YouTube fans, John Williams?
What you doing? Playing?
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, don't be using cuss words, Ben.
I said I don't want to talk about it.
That's negativity. We're not allowed to have that either.
Alright, so that's on there. So now...
All right. Here's the 75-day corn. And just to show you the height of it, I'd say it's doing pretty good so far. I know one lonely farmer said he didn't think corn around here looked good, but I'd say this right here is some pretty corn right here. This is just one big field we got of it. We got it all the way over. We do have this one area right here where the compaction, even though we ripped this field, we had our pile back there and the tractor drove constantly on this one swipe, and that had to be what is the problem here in this one spot right here. But this is the only bad spot we got out of all this corn. I'll ride over and show you some of the other 75-day corn, but it has really took off. It's starting to close up. It's been sprayed. It's had nitrogen put down. You can see some of the, I got some nitrogen burn, but it'll grow out of that. But overall, very impressed with what it looks like so far. I mean, it's really taking off. So I'm gonna ride and show you some more corn and see what you guys think. Now, I'm just making the video because on One Lonely Farmer's live video yesterday, he said corn looked horrible around here. So I'm gonna show him that it doesn't. Now, it would have looked horrible if we hadn't got these last couple rains. I mean, we were needing rain bad, but I tell you, we got rain, it just jumped. And I mean, it's up to my waist just about now. This corn right here is, so, and this is a 75 day. So we'll go look at some corn. All right, I'm not gonna get out on over here. I'm going right by the shed, storage shed, but there's some more 75 day corn. Got some more over here. I mean, this stuff is really getting tall. Coming to another field. We'll walk out some of it here in a second. Coming out to the runway. But as you can see, the roads are pretty much getting closed up on it. And I am in my little S10, and the corn's probably up to the hood, not a little bit taller. Very pretty corn. There's some more over here. I know I'm driving fast. Like I said, it's got some little bit of the tips are burned with nitrogen, but it's growing out of it. You can't help but do that when you dribble. Coming up where the runway is. Looks pretty good so far. They were calling for 3 inches of rain, but we really only got maybe an inch out of this storm, but we had got almost 2 inches last week, so we're pretty good on water right now. Got the corn stalks the guys still hadn't picked up, and there's some of her wheat. This wheat right here, she's just starting to get that little tint of yellow. We have some farms across the highway over there. I mean, they're about 2 weeks away from being ready to cut. I'd say this is probably 3 weeks. Yeah, they're starting to fall down. You better start coming and get some of these. Let's get up here and walk out in some of it. There's another farm of wheat across there. It's a pretty big farm. All right. Get out here and check some. See there's some of the nitrogen burn, but she'll grow out of that. See, the roads are just about ready to close up. See if we can get the. That's some pretty good looking corn. This is actually a sandhill. You can see how it goes down, and it's hard to believe the sandhill does this well. This is the first time that we actually had the sandhill do this well, and I think it's because of the 75 day corn. Now this right here is 75 day, and that over there is 109 day. We'll go look at that. But it looks good. All right, let's check out some 109 day. I'm not gonna get out and walk it. I just did dribble this, so it does have some nitrogen burns to it, but that's some pretty good looking corn. That's 109. Some more wheat. This right here is 109. Once she starts absorbing that nitrogen pretty good, it'll green up. It took that 75 day, probably about a week after, and got some rain on it. Now it's really greening up and growing. I mean, it jumped. 75 day was probably like this corn right here. It was probably this tall. And once it got that rain, I mean, it just jumped overnight in that 1 week. Now the 115 day back here looks really good. I mean, really good. I'm very surprised with it. Now this is decob. This is decob. And then the 115 day back here is decob. That's all we have, decob. Well, I'll show you when we go over there. That the 118 day, the last I planted, is decob. And that's because it wasn't but 30 acre little fields. And we wanted to, they grow really good, they stay pretty wet, so we wanted to just try something. So our guy said to try to, we've never planted long season like that, so we went ahead and did 118 day, and I mean, it's come up. I mean, it came up nice. I don't know what, what it looks like then, but when it gets older, or how long, 118 day, I mean, that's pretty long season corn. But they always say longer season does better, so we'll see. Here's some more of our wheat. And this stuff is tall and thick. Look at these heads on this joker. I mean, that is, let's see if we can do a hand size one. I mean, that's the size of your hand right there, and they all look like that on this farm. Well, all the farms. Thick. I mean, going to be really good straw. We do bale our own straw. I hope I don't get stuck. This little pickup ain't but a 2-wheel drive. My little beater. But I won't go back here far. And this is a pretty big farm. Assuming I can get turned around in there. Look at some of this 115 day real quick. A lot of this is where I come in with the sprayer, tore it up, but I mean, it's 115 days. I mean, it's really booming. I had to give you a height thing, but I mean, it looks, like you say, I got some nitrogen burn. That's just what happens. This is a really big field of it over here. This is just a little teeny field. This sure is a good sized field. I mean, it won't be too much longer. That'll be closed up. But it's, I mean, it's beautiful corn. I ain't much on decob, but this really, it goes all the way back. It goes all the way through and all the way back to right about there, way back there. That field, this field right here does, but pretty good looking field of corn so far. Let's just hope we keep getting the rain. It'd be nice to get about 1 inch a week. This wheat right here would be probably our last wheat that we cut. This is the last plant, I think, but as you can see, it's still pretty green. It's starting to get a little tint, but it's nowhere as near as ready as the other stuff. We'll go ride and look. Got some 111 day Pioneer here. This was the last that I dribbled, so she's got some nitrogen burns, but it looks pretty good. once that nitrogen kicks in after this rain, she'll take right off. It's the board of our wheat. I'm trying to get up here to this other field and then I'll start back. There's a 111 day Pioneer 1197. Of course, that's always a good number, but it looks good. As you can see, we got the chicken manure pile where we had manure, but that field way in the back, it's a big 9-acre field. That's going to be the first wheat we cut. That stuff is really turning yellow. But this corn right here, I mean, it is really turned on. I mean, it's starting to close up, as you see. Looks good all the way over. Like I say, I got some nitrogen burns, but that happens. But it's really greened up, and this rain has really just started it. Got it going pretty good. Here's some more 1197. Nitrogen burns, it grows out. Looks bad at first, but I mean, really. And I can't say that enough. I know I say it really looks good, but it really does look good. You know, what it looks like so far. You know, I know it's early, but as long as we keep getting the rain, I think it'll be all right. I did the spray program different this year. I think I caught it at the perfect time as far as spraying it and then coming back with the nitrogen. Big field of it, 1197. As soon as that nitrogen kicks in, like I say, these farms right here I just did do. So, as soon as the nitrogen, this rain, it'll wash it right in. I'd say next couple days we're supposed to get a lot of heat. I'll come back and video it again. You'll see a big difference. Now the farms up here, I did 1464. It's 114 day corn. There's some more of our wheat right there. Alright, this right here is 114 day corn. And it all looks about the same. I planted it all within 2 days. Not too much longer to be closing up. And that's what I want. Nitrogen burn, of course, but it all looks, that'll be right there, turn yellow. We'll come up here and check this other big field out. This is pole. And this same thing. This was really good corn last year, the 114 days. So we're going back in. Rows are just about closed up. So go across here. But like I say, that nitrogen gets kicked in. It's supposed to get up to 90. Supposed to get up to 90 the next, I don't know, 2-3 days, 85, 90 degrees. You're going to see a big difference in the corn and the nitrogen. I think so. Try and drive down the road and do this at the same time. But you'll see a big uptick in it. I think everything we changed, like I said, we changed up spray program this year and put everything on after the corn got up probably, you know, I'd say right around 8 to 10 inches, and came in and sprayed, and I feel like it's going to save us a trip across the field. We didn't put any pre-emerge down until, like I said, after the fact. We came back with Halex and atrazine and did it that way. It seemed like it really worked. I know my buddy last year, Tom, he did change his spray program up to that. Josh, our chemical guy, said it seemed like it worked. So this year we did it because I was sick of putting the pre-emerge down, and after the corn got 8 to 10 inches, all the weeds were coming back. So then I had to come right back in and spray anyway. Well, you talk about the sprayer trips, the money you got invested in that twice, the chemicals twice, it just didn't make any sense. So this year, changed it up and waited until the corn come up, and I mean, it really tore that stuff up. What did we put? Atrazine, Halex, and Radiate down, and man, it really knocked them weeds out. Now, and then I came back once stuff started dying. Corn got a little bit taller. I came back and put the nitrogen on, and then we got the rains at the right time, and you know, as you can see, I think so. The corn has really done a good job. I mean, it's just about closed up. I'd say 80% of it's just about ready to close. It looks good. It's all perfect stand, height and everything. And I upped the population this year. And that seems like it's really done a good job. Look, we got a big gobbler out here. Look at him strutting. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Of course, turkey season was in. You couldn't find a bird. Now you go to every single field now that turkey season's out, and then birds strutting right beside the road. Big gobblers. So that's how it always works out. But we'll ride back. We'll come back here and check this farm out back in the woods. And the one that we did all the ditching and the work to, one of them hadn't been planted in years. We'll see what that corn looks like. Some of it didn't come up in the bottoms because we got a big rain after the fact. And I don't know if it flooded it or what. Well, I guess we should have come back and replanted a couple spots, but we didn't do it. So, but it didn't get flooded. I think it just, the water just, it's black as soil you'll ever see in your life. I've never seen soil so black. And, but the rest of it looks really good other than a couple spots here and there. So we'll ride back and check that out, and then I'll show you the 118-day corn. And then we'll go to my farm. I got the 115-day corn that they wanted us to try there, and we'll see what that looks like. So be back in a minute. All right, coming up on, it's 111 day. Now this is the farm that hadn't been planted in years. It was all grass. I just did put the nitrogen on this farm right here. Let me see if I can get this light better. As you can see, we got where the pile of manure was, but this farm hadn't been planted in years. So, but it's got corn there. I mean, it's up. And it's not too bad looking, actually. I mean, she's growing good, considering that it hadn't been there forever. This is a small farm. We'll go up here to the big one. Here's the bigger farm. This right here is the last farm that I put nitrogen on. And as you can, if you look down them rows, this is the blackest soil I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, this corn is really, it's really growing. Look how black that soil is. We got a couple shorter spots. That's where it always seemed like it got wet, right here on these edges where these ditches were flooded forever. I mean, this farm was always flooded, and this is the one we came and got the county to dig out the road ditches, and we dug the ditches out around the thing, and it's really improved it. But that is the blackest soil I've ever farmed. I've never farmed soil that black. And this corn has really jumped. And like I say, it's the last that I did, so it just really hadn't got that green up effect from the nitrogen yet. But after this rain washes it in, you know, next week you'll see a big difference in this farm right here. You know, we don't know what to expect here because this is the first year we've ever farmed it, but it is what it is so far. A lot of little fields. It's awkward to plant and awkward to spray, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. An acre's an acre. And it's way back here in the woods, so I'm sure it's going to be a deer problem. All right, I'm going to ride up and show you the 118-day corn. This will be the last that I planted. Got two bald eagles flying. But overall, this is 115-day corn. I mean, clean field. You can see where I sprayed and killed the weeds. Once again, Halex atrazine, but look at the rows closed up. I mean, they're pretty much, you know, within a week they'll definitely be closed up. But it all looks really good. Very impressed with the 115-day so far. I mean, just the stand is what I'm impressed with. You know, we'll have to see when it starts getting the ears and how it pollinates and all that stuff, but overall everything looks really good here. And like I said, I've never planted this corn. They wanted us to try it, like I say, so decided to do it on this farm and you know, give it a whirl, see what it does. But they said it works good, but like I said, we'll try it. That's just showing you the corn looks good. Wes, one lonely farmer, said the corn looked horrible around here. I'm trying to prove him that it didn't. Not all corn looks great, but I got ours in pretty early. We got a much taller stand than a lot of people because I like to get it in the ground and get it, you know, starting to plant, get it growing early. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but the last 2 years we've got it in early and it really is, I think it's really done good. It's caught the range right. Seems like it's caught everything right last 2 years. You know, some years you might mess up, but you know, we waited a little bit longer this year to get the corn in. Last year I think I planted a week and a half to 2 weeks earlier. But this year it was so wet with the rain. Let me put this window up, it's starting to rain. But this year with the rain and everything, it really kind of slowed us down in the cold weather. So we waited a little bit. But overall, the corn looks good. Now, if we can keep getting the rains and stuff, I think it's gonna be a good year. But we'll just have to wait and see. But pretty much everything's sprayed, nitrogen, except for the last thing I have to do is those last 30 acres of the 118 day is what I have to do, because you know, I'm gonna let that corn get a little bit taller before I dribble it. And I got all the beans planted, the early beans. We might have to replant because we did get a bunch of rain on some, but they're popping through pretty good. Some of the spots that are wet across town are always wet, and it doesn't matter if you go back over there and replant, it's going to get wet again, so we'll probably not even do that. They're just little pockets here and there that's not worth fooling with it. We got to get the draper out and the combine out and get it all ready for wheat, because 2 weeks we'll be doing it. And now in the next video we'll have a surprise for you. I'm not gonna say anything other than that. My brother's gonna be very, very happy, but there'll be a surprise in the next video, so make sure you tune in. And other than that, everything looks good, so just make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you.